I am happy to introduce Shari Miles Cohen, who is part of the 1989-1990 fellowship class. After her time as a fellow, Shari actually came back to run the fellowship program, but she is now the senior director of the Women's Programs Office at the American Psychological Association. So my first question is, how did your time as a fellow influence your future career?
Professionally, I was doing research on racial identity development. But what I didn't know was that year the census would be talking about racial identity categories and trying to decide if they were going to if they were going to add African American as one of the categories for Black folks to select on the census. And that was the crux of my research. And so the nexus of having my sort of scholarly work connect with the policy work that was going on the Hill was just amazing, not expected at all, and constantly reinforces the work I do and the way I talk with psychologists now about engaging in policy in their local communities and how important their voices are, because policy should have an evidence base. And so it was like a perfect example of that.
Yes, absolutely. It sounds like your graduate studies really tied in well to the work you were able to do in your fellowship. What skills or opportunities that you received as a fellow do you think were the most useful for the rest of your career?
I came into the fellowship way, way, way on the left end of the spectrum. Though it was fine for those to be my personal beliefs, but that they could interrupt my ability to make change, because we needed lots of people to make change. And the point was to find where that compromise was possible without compromising my values.
Yes, bipartisanship is a core value here at WCPI. So it's wonderful that that tied in very well with your experience on the Hill and your fellowship. So my next question is, what is your fondest memory while working as a fellow on Capitol Hill?
Women in my class, I still am friends with, like a couple of them, very close friends. And others, we have moved in and out of each other's lives, but that connection, I think, is forever. We were able to support each other and draw on the expertise of each person to help us solve problems, challenges, get information. Whereas there are certain situations where you got to get it all on your own. And so there's nothing like having that support system around. It really is a real sisterhood.
I'm happy to hear that you still have such a close relationship with some of the other fellows in your class. My next question is, what is a piece of advice that you received as a fellow that you have carried throughout your career?
The strongest relationships are built when you don't need anything from the other person. And so calling someone up when you need something from them is a lot easier if you've already built a relationship with them. And so the opportunity to sort of get to know people, take a genuine interest in other people and what's going on in their lives, and it.
Absolutely, that network and relationship building is essential for any career, but absolutely in the policy space. How has female leadership inspired you?
The change that we need in the world is not going to happen without women's leadership. Women's leadership has made all the difference in the world to me. It's the space I work in now, and I feel like my part of my job is to help increase the numbers of women who lead. And it is not about the title one has, it's about the work that one does.
Thank you, Shari, for your ongoing work with women's leadership and sharing stories from your time as a WCPI fellow. We are so grateful to have you as our featured fellow this month. Thank you.